A great work from home routine should give you both control and freedom. So today I want to show you what my work from home routine looks like so you can take some tips away from that and hopefully incorporate a routine in your life that gives you both control and freedom. So, are you ready? Hey go-getter, it's Salma Jafri from salmajafri.com, and you are in the right place if you want to grow your personal brand with video. Hit the red subscribe button and the bell icon and let's begin. I've been working from home for 12 years. It's a long time, ever since my first child was born. So And also I'm my own boss. So I'm working from home and making my own rules, which is great because I don't think I can take orders from anybody now anymore. So it's been a really interesting experience. It wasn't always very easy. It took me a while to get into that. But I think two things that helped me a lot was that I had to become very self-disciplined and I have to be very self-motivated. So I want to share with you some tips that I learned along this journey and how some things have changed because my kids are now a little bit older, but because I've been doing this for 12 years and we started when my first child was born. So I've been working from home with babies, with toddlers, and now with an almost teenager as well. So let me take you through some tips that helped me. Hopefully they're going to help you as well. So the first thing you want to do when you wake up in the morning is to set an intention for the day. I do not use an alarm clock, especially when the kids are not in school. I just wake up whenever I've got my full 7-8 hours of sleep. And I wake up and I want to set an intention for the day. What this does is it gives you that control I was talking about earlier. It makes you feel like, okay, you are in charge of your mood. So a couple of things I say, I have a list that I had printed out of things that I say to myself and that I deeply believe as well. So some of those are, for example, I will tell myself I am in charge of my mood, I'm in charge of my day, I decide where this goes, I decide what I want to do today and what I don't want to do today. So that makes me feel very, very in control, and I feel like I can handle things better, whatever comes my way, and I'm not reacting, but I'm being proactive. Second thing that I do every day, and I encourage my kids to do every day as well, is to make your bed first thing in the morning. It's just going to make you feel better. It's going to make your room look just amazingly organized all of a sudden, and it's just a nice uplifting thing to do for yourself. Okay, the next thing you want to do in your work from home routine is to invoke some movement in the day. Now, I've been notoriously bad at this, but this year I've gotten actually pretty good at this, and I don't put pressure on myself to do this every single day, but I do it as and when I can. So if I can work out 3 times a week, 2 times a week, even once a week, whatever I can do at home. I don't particularly like going to the gym. I did that for a while and I was like, I can't do this every day. So what I do is I make my own YouTube playlist with my favorite workouts. So you can do that as well. You can actually piece together different workouts that you want to do together, put them into your own YouTube playlist and make it a private playlist if you don't want to share that with anybody else. And then you can either use your smart TV, or what I do is I connect my phone with my TV using Chromecast, and then I put that exercise playlist on the big screen and just follow along. So that's something that is really easy and convenient to do as a quick work from home movement routine, and it really helps to set the intention for the day as well. The next thing I do is I get ready for work. So I know it sounds a bit presumptuous, but I don't put on a full face of makeup necessarily unless I'm doing a video shoot. But what I do is the bare minimum to feel presentable. And I do this mostly for myself. Even though I may not be meeting anyone that day, I may not actually be on video that day. But when I do the bare minimum, which is basically I do my brows and I put on an eyeliner. And that's really the extent to which I'm going to go. And I do my base makeup, which is like Vaseline and powder for my skin. But that's it. So figure out what is the bare minimum that you need to do to feel and look presentable. Because what that does is when I'm actually at work, I don't have the hesitation to shoot a quick video or get on a quick call with somebody because I know that I'm going to look presentable, right? So instead of thinking that you need to get ready for work in some big fancy way, think about what is the bare minimum you can do to feel and look presentable. Motivation. Now, I'm highly driven and I'm highly self-motivated, but it wasn't always this way. So what I do is I have a network that I look at every morning. I surround myself with people who are doing the things and being in the place where I want to be, right? I watch their videos, I follow them along, maybe on Twitter or other channels, and I'm inspired and motivated each and every single day to do the best that I can. So I would highly, highly encourage you to curate the people around you in a way that inspires you and motivates you. And that could go with people, it could go with websites, it could go with the blogs you read, the podcasts you subscribe to. Make sure you're getting that dose of inspiration every single day. And if it's internal, that's even great, but external factors matter as well. So make sure that you stay positive and stay motivated, and also work on things that are passion projects for you every single day. So if you're working for yourself and you're working from home, there's nobody to tell you what to do, right? So choose things that inspire you and just make you feel like doing them, right? Choose the things that really, really matter to you. Now, I know this one's not always possible for everybody, but have a separate space for work. Now, I do have a separate room that I use as my video studio and as my home office. But before I had this room, I was filming in my bedroom. So that's how I actually got started. But having a separate space has been great, because walking into my office sets my mindset right for, okay, now I'm at work. So even if you can have a corner in your house, or you can designate a space in your house that this is my workspace. So instead of working all over the house, one day on the couch, another day on the kitchen table, have a dedicated space, and you can spruce up that space and make it look good, and add your little knickknacks and your personal touches and make it your own. But have a personal space that you go to work. That's your commute. The next thing that I had to do was, because I live with other people in the house, I wanted to inform them of my working hours. So for my husband and my kids, I would tell them, okay, I'm about to go live now, or I need these next 3 hours to not be disturbed, right? And so it's really important to let people around you know that you're going to be in work mode. So even though it looks like you're just scrolling Facebook on your phone, you're actually at work. So you need to inform the people around you what your work hours are. And if you don't have very set work hours, then do it on a piece by piece basis. Like, okay, the next 2 hours I'm going to be busy, or I'm going to be doing a shoot, or I'm going to be doing a live stream. So please take care not to make too much noise, or make sure that the people around you know that you're going to be at work, so they know not to disturb you. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I have 2 kids, and they grew up with me working from home. So I think it was really important for me to make it the new normal for them to see mom at work. And now my husband works from home as well. So they see this as normal in our household, that when mom and dad are in their office or on their computers, they're actually at work. So you should also try and make it the new normal for your kids, so they don't see this as an anomaly or something that they can interfere with. They see, oh, okay, my parents are at work right now. So you want to involve the kids in certain activities to make sure that they stay busy, so that they know that they cannot disturb their parents at this time. So a couple of things that were my go-to as the kids were growing up. Puzzles. Those were always things that would keep them engaged for really long periods of time. And you want to find activities that they can do on their own, because that's the whole point, right? If you are having to do them with them, then it's not time for you to work, right? So puzzles were a big thing. Books were another thing. So both my kids are great readers. And then things like Jenga, Lego, anything that they can build themselves, construction sets and stuff like that, soft toys, doll sets. So depending on age and gender and whatever you're comfortable with, make sure that your kids have toys and things that they can do by themselves. My kids love doing like role play activities and construction activities, and those are things that they can do by themselves for hours on end. So try and find activities that your kids would be happy to engage with by themselves for a long period of time. Now, how do you work from home with kids? So let's say they're done with their activities. So what else can you do? So here's some of the things that have worked for us. First of all, you can involve your kids in your work. So my daughters often help me do the video shoot, especially when they were younger. They would sit in and I would give them instructions on when they can talk and when they can't talk. And yes, there have been times when they talked while I was shooting and then I had to redo that. And they kind of saw the process and understood what it means to interfere and to help all of that. So they became part of it. So if you can involve your kids in your work, that would be amazing. The other thing that you can do is either do your work at a time when the kids are asleep or they've not yet woken up. So there have been times when I've shot late at night. There have been times when I get up before the kids just to make sure I can get certain work done. So those are the kind of sacrifices you may need to make. It depends on your commitment and drive and ability to do that. But you may want to consider making sure that you can get important chunks of creative work done when the kids are actually asleep. And the third thing that you can try and do is take turns. So sometimes what I do with my husband is that, okay, you look after the kids while I jump on this client call, and then he'll be like, I have this important editing work to do. Can you make sure that the kids are taken care of? So we'll tag team it out. And also, if you have a support system you can rely on, that's really, really great. So you can ask somebody to take care of your kids for an hour as you get very specific focused work done that you just cannot do with kids around. So those are some of the things that have worked for us. So I do like to section off like 1 or 2 hours in the evening for some fresh air and going out. And that's something that I think is essential, especially when you're working from home and you're like in front of different screens all day long. It's important to be able to get out. Obviously, we can't do that right now because we're in lockdown, but we do still try and go out on our terrace and take a walk right outside our house. So figure out what you can do to get some fresh air into your day. If it's just something like as simple as looking out the window or gazing into the distance, you want to do that to shift your focus from looking at computer screens really close up to looking at something in the distance and getting that bit of fresh air. And another thing that I do to reset the work and leisure time and kind of, figure out when work ends and when leisure begins, is that I like to take weekends off. Now, I try and do this most of the time. So Saturdays are off limits for work. Like even if I get an email from a client or I get YouTube comments or whatever coming in, I will try not to respond to them on Saturdays and most of Sundays as well. So I try and take the weekend off deliberately and intentionally. Now, the good thing about working from home is that weekends can be any day, right? And especially when the kids are not in school, it makes it even easier to have weekends any day. But when they are in school, I typically just take Saturdays and Sundays off. And that's important for my mental health because I work really, really hard during the week and I'm really focused and it takes a lot out of me. So it's very draining and I love what I do, but it does drain my energy. And to sort of reset that, I need to take a day and a half usually off from thinking about work. And I think the private space is really important as well. So there are times when we're all in the house, like we're 4 of us and everybody's in a different room and everybody's doing their own thing. So I think it's really important when you're working from home to respect everyone's privacy. And one thing that we like to do is put headphones on if we're listening to a particular show or a podcast or we're working. So other people know that we're busy and not to disturb us. So I think everybody has private and space to be within the house, and everybody has their like favorite nooks and corners that we all retire to. So I think that's also important. So you don't invade everyone's personal space and you're not into each other all the time. Okay, so now I have a question for you. Which one of these was your favorite work from home tips and which one do you think you can incorporate into your routine? And if you are at home and you're thinking about you want to do something interesting, fresh, and learn a new skill perhaps, then check out this new series that I have running on my channel, which is about how to start an online business while you are at home. I'll link to that in the end card next to me. Remember to go after what you want and build a brand you love because you can be the media.